reverb. Lots of reverb. Hello, dear friends. It's just Larry. Uncle Larry. I've been on a long hiatus, but I've got an excuse. I'll get to it later. Hope everybody's doing great out there. Sometimes when I don't post videos, you guys will get worried and send emails and say, "Are you okay, Larry?" That's the washing machine going off. But Uncle Larry's always okay. You can't knock him down. He's a survivor from Cleveland, raised in the harsh environment of Northeast Ohio, born in a test tube, raised in a nuclear reactor to play guitar. Survive. Speaking of survive, well, let me get into some before I get into all that. Friends, I finally got the pool, and that's where I've been. I've been trying to get that new house situation settled. A lot of you guys would kind of guess that was happening, but beautiful fenced-in private area with a pool, man. I'm telling you, man. After a few days of being over there with the boys, my first thought was, how in the fuck did I survive the first 11 years of parenting without a pool? I've had to completely entertain them both myself the whole time, which is great and everything. But man, when you got that pool, you just set it and forget it. They're out there all day and they go to bed at 9 o'clock and they're exhausted. And it's amazing. And I suppose better late than never, like most things in life, right? Uncle Larry, the late bloomer. I had a heartwarming moment yesterday at Grons. I feel like I should tell you about. This old Strat, right? I got it a while back, the one with the water damage down here. Great old guitar, 63, I think. I brought it up to show it to Greg a while back, and he goes, "Man, let's put some frets in this thing." And I was like, man, you guys don't have to do that. And he said, "Yeah, let's do it. Put frets in there." So I said, "Okay, cool, let's do it." So a guy named Peter did the fret job. He's been at Grons a couple years now. I remember when Greg first hired him. He's from Hungary, and Greg basically grew him from an apple seed. Greg Voros, I'm talking about, head of repair at Grons. Taught him so much, and I remember watching him, like the way he treated Peter. He was very hard on him, like a father, but always in the intent to teach him, And now Greg's not doing repairs anymore because of his hands and his MS and all that stuff, which is unfortunate because he was the best. And now you got he's overseeing everyone else and still has all the vast knowledge of everything he's learned, and it's really cool to watch the way he teaches all these guys. And so they said, "Your Strat's done, man. Come pick it up." And I said, "Well, did you do the thing with the wiring that I like?" And they did all that, the Uncle Larry tricks. And so they said, "Come play it," So I went and picked it up yesterday up in the repair department. A bunch of people were gathered around, and I hope, they wanted to see how I liked it and everything. And I do what I do when I test out any guitar. The rigorous, sort of test. I check for sustain, acoustically, all that stuff, right? Try to find any dead spots, try to find any problems, immediately, right? And man, it's just turned out perfect. Like the nut spacing is perfect, really wide, like I like it. Bevel's perfect. It's not over beveled. It just plays amazing. And it's like this guitar went from being a sort of a jalopy with some attitude to a professional instrument via this fret job. I mean, it drives like a Cadillac now. I mean, every note is clear as could be, and the sustain is way better than it was. It's amazing what a fret job will do to an instrument. It's like a complete transformation, But aside from all that, while I was trying to find any issues with it, I looked at Peter and I said, "Man, I can't find anything to bitch about." And I look over at Greg and he was like crying. It's like he saw his protege sort of graduate, He's like, That's the best thing. I'm about to choke up just talking about it. Woo! I'll be with you in a minute. But man, dude, that got me. Get a little emotional. But he said that's the ultimate thing that somebody could say. You know, can't find any problems, can't find nothing to bitch about, and that was it. Peter has graduated to the ranks of total badass. They start turning out amazing, and you know, it's cool to see that sort of dynamic happen. It's very cool. I love those dudes up at Grons. Tony Nagy came in and watched me play for a minute, and he goes, "Man, that's sustained." He goes, "You can just tell those frets are totally connected to the wood of the fretboard. You can feel it. There's no air pockets. There's no bullshit. It's like it's really good, you know." Enough of that. Okay. A guy sent me a video today of a young Nashville. This is off topic. I'm moving on, taking that box of shit we were talking about, putting it over here. Here's a new box. I see all these videos that people send me all the time of like young Nashville guys that just are like road guys and guys that just moved here, you know, or they may have been here for a while and they're trying to work their way up the ranks as touring guys. And I've watched several of these videos by several different guys, actually. There's a bunch of them. I wish we had that kind of shit when I was coming up. God, there was no YouTube to bitch about not having a gig when I was a kid. These guys don't realize how lucky they have it. A platform to bitch on. I just had to suffer quietly and yell at my girlfriend maybe about how miserable I was. Whatever. I was the king of the failed 6-month relationship. That was my whole MO. Whatever girl I happened to randomly be dating. Pretty much every songwriter in the Nashville music industry at that point. So, I've noticed that these guys, you know, they're you know, cool guys and all that, but there's like this sort of overarching sort of theme that it's like they're unhappy with the way they get treated as road guys or the pay or any of these things, like saying that there's too many musicians in Nashville and all that stuff. And yeah, man, all that shit's true. See, here's the thing. Nashville's like its own little world. It has nothing to do with the rest of the country, with the rest of the world. The set of rules, the economy of Nashville is its own it's like its own, seriously like its own world. There could be an economic recession happening in the rest of the country. Nashville won't even notice it. It's completely isolated. So the road guy thing has always been, even when I was young, growing up, coming here, has always been the sort of the lowest rung on the totem pole, okay? The first thing you do when you get here is get some kind of shitty touring gig. And then the next step up from there is a better touring gig. And then you keep leapfrogging touring gigs till you get a good touring gig. And if you really, really are serious about this shit, then you quit touring completely and try to be a session guy. And that we all know how hard that world is to get into, right? So, you know, the low end of well, I guess even below the touring guy would be like the Broadway thing, right? Which is cool. All this stuff is cool. I'm not talking shit on any of this stuff. I'm all for when any musicians get paid to play music, right? So I'd say you'd say the Broadway thing and then the low end touring thing, and it just works up from there. The session thing's up higher, and then the artist thing would be after the session thing. You know, some guys would not happy being a session guy; they want to be an artist, right? And then I suppose record label manager would be above that, or president would be above that, and then I suppose a producer would be above that, and then record label president would be above that, right? If you really want to talk about real money and all that shit. So the thing about that is, like, yeah, man, there's not a lot of money, you know, being thrown around on these sort of low-end touring gigs, you know. But I have a way around all that. This is from Uncle Larry. Yeah, you might say, Uncle Larry, you're an old guy now and your advice is antiquated. But I don't believe so. I think the things that I always believed in are still relevant today. You guys remember a football player named Walter Payton? Sweetness, as he was known by the Chicago Bears. The reason he is one of the top 5 running backs in the history of the NFL is because he worked 10 times harder than anybody else. If you watch videos of his work ethic, he would run up and down mountains all day when he wasn't playing. He was so strong, and he worked so much harder than the rest of the guys that it was a joke to try to handle him on the field. You couldn't. It took 2 or 3 guys to tackle him on every play. See, I'm not in any way comparing myself to Walter Payton. Please know this, but I have always known that if you work 10 times harder than the rest of the guys, you're gonna get shit that the rest of the guys don't get. Okay. What I see is a lot of these guys, they're not putting the work in, man. You're not going to excel at any job. I don't care if it's a waiter, or I don't care if it's in any business, unless you fucking work way harder than everyone else. This is never going to go out of style, this concept. Okay? If you're tired of playing low-end road gigs or any of this stuff, which I get it, develop a voice on the instrument. Do something special on the instrument that's going to get you noticed from the rest of the people. Okay? Those guys, the road guys are just replaceable bodies. If one guy can't do the gig, they just get another guy. You got to brand yourself, come up with something special that you can do that no one else can do. Okay? Ancient advice. Ancient Chinese secret. Okay? So, what else? There was a couple other things. Oh, look what Leo and Marshall made me today. They gave me a card. Best dad ever. They put little coupons in the card that say things like 10 free hugs. Or they'll say first bath, which means, because there's always an argument about who gets in the bath first at night. So they give you little coupons that I could use. Isn't that sweet? That's it. So yeah, I'm in the process of moving, and it's a nightmare, but the house is great. The new house is fantastic, and I'm gonna sadly be selling this house that I'm in now, which I absolutely love. This house, it's a great house, and I'm really gonna be sad to see it go, because a lot of special memories here for me. So there's that. And you guys have a great day, and enjoy Father's Day, all you dear fathers out there. Man, it's crazy to think about, isn't it? I never even thought I would be a father. It's like, but here we are, right? I had the boys for 12 straight days because their mother has been out of town. All day, every day. And man, it's awesome, but you guys know how hard it is. All you guys out there that do it. It's awesome. It drains you of every last bit of your energy, don't it? When you hit that bed at night, you're just like, praise God. Okay. Friends, have a great Father's Day. See you all later. Bye-bye.
I'm standing on him, Dad.
I got my long hair.